Hello and welcome to your math lesson about percent. All right, so percent means out of 100. Don't forget, you do need to write all of these notes down, especially the math facts when we get to that part. So knowing your 100 multiplication and division math facts will help you when you're working with percents. So let's go over those. These are the most important math facts for this particular unit. So these are the ones that you're going to want to focus on, and they're also the ones that you're going to want to memorize. So you've got your multiplication facts. 1 times 100 is 100. 2 times 50 is 100. 4 times 25 is 100. 5 times 20 is 100. 8 times 12.5 is 100. And 10 times 10 is 100. And then these are the corresponding division facts. So remember that multiplication and division are opposite operations. So if 1 times 100 is 100, then 100 divided by 1 is 100. 100 divided by 2 is 50, corresponding to our multiplication of 2 times 50 is 100. 100 divided by 4 is 25. 100 divided by 5 is 20. 100 divided by 8 is 12.5. 100 divided by 10 is 10. And then you can write it at the opposite way. You can flip the numbers around, and they are still true. 100 times 1 is still 100. 50 times 2 is 100. 25 times 4 is 100. 20 times 5 is 100. 12.5 times 8 is 100. And 10 times 10 is 100. And then these are the corresponding division facts that go with these multiplication facts. They all are similar in the way that they get you to 100. 100 divided by 100 is 1. 100 divided by 50 is 2. 100 divided by 25 is 4. 100 divided by 20 is 5. 100 divided by 12.5 is 8. And 100 divided by 10 is still 10. These math facts are going to be helpful to you. They are going to especially help you when you're working to change percentages to fractions and then fractions back to percentages. And so you're going to want to rely on these math facts. Make sure you write them down. All right, let's keep going. So you will be using these math facts to change fractions into percents and decimals. We'll get to the decimals later. Since percent means out of 100, you can always write a percent as a fraction by putting 100 as the denominator and then find lowest terms after that. So let's look at examples of that. Here's an example here. You've got 13%. Now to write 13% as a fraction, you take your 100 denominator and you put it underneath whatever the percent is. And then you get rid of the percent sign. So 13% is 13 over 100 as a fraction. Now you also want to find lowest terms. Remember, when you're looking for lowest terms, think about, is it a prime number? Is there a number that I can divide both of these by to make them smaller? There is no number that I can divide into both of these because 13 is a prime number. So 13 you can only divide by 1 and 3. So that's not going to work. I'm sorry, 1 and 13. And you can't divide 100 by 13. So lowest terms, already done. But the second example, I've got 35%. So changing that to a fraction, I just take my percent, it's the numerator now, and I put 100 on the bottom because, of course, percent means out of 100. So I can make this lowest terms. So I need to think about all the things that I can divide into 35 and 100. So if you look at those math facts that you just wrote down, you know that you can divide 100 by 1, 2, 4, 5, 8, 10, 12.5, 20, 25, 50, and 100. Of all those things that I can divide into 100, what can I also divide into 35? So 35 I can divide 1, 5, 7, and 35. So the only number they have that's the same is 5. So I'm going to divide them both by 5 to be able to find my lowest terms. So 35 divided by 5 is 7. 100 divided by 5 is 20. I know that because of my math facts. So don't forget to use those math facts to help you find lowest terms, because you'll be dealing with denominators that are 100. All right, so what about the opposite? To change a fraction to a percent, you need to find an equivalent fraction with 100 as the denominator. So it's like the opposite of what we just did. I've got 14 out of 100. To turn it into a percent, if I already have 100 on the bottom, I just have my 14, and then that's all I need. I take that numerator, write it down with a percent sign, and now I'm done. But what if I have a fraction and it doesn't have 100 on the bottom? I need to find an equivalent fraction with 100 as the denominator, and then I can turn it into a percent. So this is 2 steps. I need to turn 5 into 100. So using your 100 math facts, you know that 5 times 20 is 100. And whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top to find the equivalent fraction. 3 times 20 is 60. Now that I have a fraction with 100 on the bottom, I can find my percent by simply using the numerator and then putting the percent sign. All right, so when working with percents and fractions, you may also be working with decimals. Both fractions and percents can be written as decimals. So this is where we're introducing decimals into the mix. Here's an example. I have 0.75, or 75 hundredths. To write that as a percent, I would have 75%. I can write it as a fraction, 75 over 100, which would then turn into 3 over 4 in lowest terms. So percents, decimals, fractions, they're all connected. They can all be used to express the same value. And so in the next lessons, I'm going to break down how to do that back and forth. So this is only part 1 of your percent math lesson. And we'll do part 2 next.